All right. Let's see. How is this looking? Is this looking good? Ah, come on, don't do me like this. Don't do me like this. Give me what I need. Give me what I need. Can you guys hear me? Hopefully you guys can hear me. Just give me what. Yep. Sounds good. We're here. We're live and in full effect. I just needed to change some settings up real quick. And I think we are to the good. I think we're to the good. Let's see. Dropping some frames, but I think I should be straight. What's going on, everybody? It is Dr. Jamar Montgomery of drjamarmontgomery.com. I just want to thank everybody for rocking with me and for being here with me. Doing this ain't easy, but guess what? I have the greatest, and you guys are helping to make it happen. So I thank all of you for being here right now and showing up. Brother Torian, what's happening? There we go. Let's see. It's lower than the recommended. Using a stream bit rate of 6,800. Cool. We're getting ready to get up there right now. Getting all my stuff together. Like I said, this is, for some reason, my stuff is hating on me right now. And it's dropping frames, it's doing all of that. But you know what? We're here now. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about how the United States, there's been a lot of talk about how the United States military is going to be utilized against the cartels. And, you know, I'm one of those folks that I'm all for it. The challenge is how are you going to actually do that? How are you going to utilize the military against the cartels when, yes, we are the biggest, baddest military in the entire world? However, we are not invincible and we are not untouchable. That's something very important for us to keep in mind, is that we are not invincible and we are not untouchable. We are the biggest, we are the baddest, but we are not invincible and we are not untouchable. And with not being the biggest, with being the biggest and with being the baddest, but not being untouchable, it is extremely important for us to recognize that once you take that genie out the bottle, there is no putting that genie back in the bottle. Once you open up that can of worms, there's no way that you're going to be able to put those can of worms back inside of the can. And what is that? What is that? I'm talking about the fact that if we utilize the United States military against the cartel, it is not as simple as taking down what we have seen is that the cartels are ultra violent. The cartels are a global enterprise. Not a global network, but a global criminal enterprise, meaning that they make money, that they have logistics networks that rival UPS, that rival FedEx, that rival DHL. They have HR. They have legal departments. These are full-fledged businesses that have a military wing. Think about that. Think about if Disney, a global company like Disney, had the ability to deploy their own kind of military or be able to deploy or pay for mercenaries. I mean, they have the ability to do that, but that's a whole nother story. Think about that. And now think about the fact that the United States military said, hey, we're going to designate the cartels as a criminal organization and we're going to hunt them at anywhere where they're at. In order to when you designate the cartels as a terrorist organization, okay, well, what have we done with terrorist organizations? Well, we have invaded countries. So that means that we would have to get the permission of Mexico in order to go into Mexico to go and fight these folks. That's one. And then what happens? You bomb them, you shoot them, you do a bunch of direct action raids, right? You utilize SEAL Team 6 and the unit, right, for the high value targets. You cut off the head of the snake, and then what, 5, 6 more appear? So then you're utilizing the Green Berets, and you're utilizing the Rangers, you're utilizing the SEAL teams to go down there and start mopping up, start killing a lot of these folks. But you're going to go after the people, and all you're going to do is create more drug entrepreneurs and cartel entrepreneurs who are going to see, okay, we have to change up our tactics because now this is a new animal that we're dealing with. Remember, this is a global criminal enterprise, which means that they are selling a product that people want. So as long as their product is able to get sold, then that means that they're going to continue to have money. And if they have money, now they're in a position of power. So think about it this way. The only way in which you can stop the cartels is if you eliminate the demand. If you regulate the demand. Who's the demand? The United States, the people of the United States, the same ones that have that the United States public that has a problem with the cartels are also the same people that buy the drugs from the cartels. Whether it be marijuana that's now grown in California, that's grown in California, or whether it be harder drugs, right? Like the white girl, MDMA, all these other things. You'd have to eliminate the demand for those things. But the American people aren't going to stop buying drugs. So guess what? If there's a market for it, then there means that there's a supplier for it because there's the demand for it. The United States people are not going to stop buying drugs. So even if you go after cartels and you go after those people, what does that do? All it does is create people who are going to become smarter in how they traffic in drugs and traffic in all these different other products. So you're not actually solving the problem. You're actually creating a bigger one. And you're creating a bigger one because now you get rid of one cartel. And now they say, it's harder to get drugs into the United States. Oh, but there's still a demand for it. The price of it goes up. What are you doing? You're now either centralizing the power of cartels, or you're increasing their profit margins as a result of this. And what does the United States do? We get caught into another forever war. Submit feedback. See, my live does not contain the stuff that's in there. So the problem that we're having, I got 2 restrictions. That's the thing. That's why I like YouTube, because TikTok can be a little restrictive at times. One of the things that we have to really live visibly restricted for some audiences, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Anyways, go back out here. Anyways, the United States, we go after the cartels, but what happens when the cartels hit back? Like I said, we have the largest military in the world, but we're not invincible. We're not untouchable. The same networks that they have here in the United States that allows for them to traffic in these products is the same networks that allow for them to move mercenaries and move narco terrorists to conduct acts of terror on our home soil. You can literally bring the American people to their knees in a matter of 12 coordinated attacks, 12 coordinated attacks, and let three of them, let 3 to 4 sets of coordinated attacks in geographic disparate areas, and let 3 of them happen at the same time, 3 or 4 of them at the same time, a total number of 12 attacks, and let it happen in 3 cities. 3 cities. Let one happen in Chicago. Let one happen in Los Angeles. Let one happen in Dallas. Then the next one you let happen in New York City. Next one in Miami. Charlotte, North Carolina. The next one in Seattle. The next one in Houston. Do coordinated attacks, and you do 4 sets of them, or you do 3 sets of them, 3 sets of them in 4 cities, or 4 sets of them in 3 cities, and you will bring the American people to their knees. Why do I say that? Although we have the greatest military in the world, we are not untouchable. There is a demand for the product that the cartels are giving. And how do you go and attack the cartels without Mexico's permission? And we talk about how corrupt that the Mexican government is, and the issues that they have in the Mexican government with narco states and narco governments and narco terrorism. And you're getting ready to, you think that you're going to attack the cartels, and there's not going to be major repercussions here in the United States? That's the thing with the cartels. It's a moving target. They're a moving target because there's multiple cartels. What that means is that the United States will have to negotiate with these particular organizations. I don't think that's something that the American people are prepared to do. And once again, with President Trump is a great leader. He's a great leader. He's getting things done. But there's also the backdoor deals that go on. There's the back office negotiations. There's the diplomatic cables. There's the back channels that are available that will have to be used. So yeah, we'll utilize the special operations forces, but that's not going to solve the problem. And I know a few of my friends and the cartels are well versed in guerrilla warfare. And although we've done what we did in Iraq and Afghanistan, we were dealing with, poor people and goat herders in Afghanistan. They were hardened fighters, but it wasn't until we started dealing with ISIS and these real global terror networks, these global terror organizations that actually train, that actually have equipment, right? That's a whole different story. Now we're dealing with the cartels. What's part of the cartels? Like the CJNG, Cartel Jalisco New Generation, right? What we as the American people don't realize is that the cartels are also made up of people who were in the Mexican military and in Mexican special forces. Like these are not everyday people. These are people who are well trained, well prepared, and well accustomed to doing the utmost violence to people. We don't recognize as the American people what it means, what counterterrorism actually is. There's anti-terrorism and there's counterterrorism. Anti-terrorism is I'm trying to prevent terrorism. Counterterrorism is I'm hitting you with terrorism. I just happen to be a state that's doing it. We don't recognize that. Like when you hear punch and counterpunch, you threw a punch and I threw a punch back. It's the same thing with counterterrorism. Anti-terrorism is I'm just blocking. Counterterrorism is I'm hitting back. And it's these ways of which how we utilize language to keep the people confused, to keep the people not even necessarily you're able to do these things. You're able to do these things without really putting on to what's actually going on. The United States is in a lot of trouble and we don't even recognize it. And why, if anybody that's worth their salt and gotten any sense should be looking at the United States as the biggest money grab ever. This is the time to be getting rich. This is the time to be figuring out what it is that you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Because if you are, things are going to get wild here in the United States. You are not safe here in the United States. We're not safe here. We think that ISIS and all these transnational groups from overseas are the biggest threat. No, it's the cartels. It's the cartels and the violence that they can that they can put. Now watch this. The cartels know that blood is bad for business, especially here in the United States. But what happens when you're at war? Somebody has declared war on you. All bets are off. And that's not the part. And I don't think that we're actually grasping. I don't think we're actually grasping the magnitude of that. And it's scary. It's absolutely scary. I don't know why this stream is acting like this. 35.8 drop frames. Shame, shame, shame. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I'm going to figure out what's going on with my streaming, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to holler at y'all because I got a few things on my mind. So y'all be blessed. God loves you. I do too.